while everyone is excited and in the revelry of the NCAA tournament, my world got turned upside down last night. And forgive me, I'm not going to make this about me and about the New York Mets, because this is a universal problem, problem that happens in professional sports. I understand having pride in your country. I'm proud to be a member of this country. I'm proud to be an American citizen. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in any other country in the world. However, if I'm being paid, I don't know, let's say 5 years, $102 million, which is exactly what Edwin Diaz just signed with the Mets, then maybe I'm not going to play for Team USA, or in his case, Puerto Rico, or whoever it is. When you have a professional obligation and when you're getting paid that much to play for a team, you play for that team. And honestly, if they wanted to take the pros out of the Olympics, like, we do not need Kevin Durant and Devin Booker or Pau Gasol playing for the Spanish team or whoever. You can have it be amateurs and we can all still enjoy it. We should never have these professionals playing in outside tournaments anyway, period, full stop.
Yeah, let's not have the guys who already have $200 million in the bank. Let's get the guys who are on the brink of signing for millions of dollars and put them at risk. So what's the difference if it's college players or pro? The college guys have much more to lose than the pros.
Listen, I'm invested as a fan of the New York Mets.
Okay.
And I'd be invested as a fan of the insert whoever you want. How about Paul George gets hurt in a scrimmage for Team USA, and his career has never been the same.
He's pretty good.
He's still pretty good, but it's not on the it took him a long time to get back.
Paul George is one of the top 8 players in the NBA.
Yeah, but he's not making first-team All-NBA teams like he was before he got hurt.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, but okay.
Okay, but that's not the point.
You're splitting hairs here.
Here's where I have an issue with your argument.
Okay.
You did not say all this yesterday.
Dude,
it took a Mets injury to get you fired up about the WBC, and you have to admit there's some truth to that.
I'm not even watching the WBC. That's why I'm not talking about it, because I'm not watching it.
Okay, if the Phillies closer got hurt, would you have come in and had the same take?
I think this. Listen,
you might think that, but the vehemence of it seems Mets specific.
Because I watched the closer, who was getting paid $100 million, get taken off in a wheelchair last night. Okay. I mean, I've always thought that this is, if I'm an owner of a team, or if I'm the general manager or whatever, yes, I appreciate that you have pride in your country. I do too, but you don't have to play for them. And I'm like making the investment in you to play for the team that I'm paying you to play for. Now you're going to go outside of this, and I get it. Mike Trout's doing it, Mookie Betts is doing it, and they're all doing it. But I don't have to like it. And I always thought that it was really amazing that Dirk Nowitzki and Mark Cuban back in the day had an agreement, because Mark Cuban paid Dirk Nowitzki like over $200 million as a member of the Dallas Mavericks. And they always had an agreement that he wouldn't play for Germany in the Olympics. He's too important to what the Mavericks are doing. And Edwin Diaz is too important to what the Mets are doing.
First of all, Edwin Diaz was totally going to bomb this year. We all know. That's fact.
I don't want to hear that from you, Phillies
fan.
Fact.
And second of all, who cares? It's
that's
2023.
Conjecture. It's not fact. You went to Dartmouth. You know what a fact is. That's not a fact. That's also, you projecting.
It's not 1985 with Raleigh Fingers. I think we've evolved past the traditional closer role. It's not like the Astros need their closer that bad. Listen, they'll be fine. The Mets are going to be fine. They won 100-something games last year. Edwin Diaz was going to be like his entire career up and down this year. Whatever. That's besides the point.
Whatever. They made the investment. Who cares what he...
It's not even that much. He paid what? What was it?
$102 million.
For how many years?
5.
That's a backup second baseman in today's Major League Baseball.
No, it's not.
That is no money whatsoever.
That's a ton of money.
Steve Cohen's going to go buy 2 closers for this one. That is no money.
But there aren't great closers who are just out there right now.
Right, these closers, first of all these quote-unquote great closers are so year to year anyway. I'm not getting the role of closer. I want to stick up for the WBC.
Okay, fine.
The WBC is the most exciting thing that I've seen in baseball in a while. Did you see Shohei's homer the other day?
Yeah, they passed it around the stadium. I've never seen anything like that.
It is the most excited and the most animated I've ever seen Mike Trout. We get on baseball players for not promoting the game, and this is one thing to promote the game. This is one thing that is actually cool and exciting, and we're ripping them. I think people
why don't they promote Major League Baseball like this?
Because they're mercenaries. Because they're just doing it for these crazy contracts that make no sense. This is actually refreshing to see people play for their country like other sports, similar to soccer. You know, soccer is is pretty popular, in part because these guys take a break from their pro obligations to play for the country, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's once every 4 years. I don't know how often the WBC is, actually. But
well, the Champions League. I mean, like, there's all sorts of national games.
Okay,
the national games
soccer.
Forever.
I don't care about soccer. I care about baseball because
you're alone in that one.
I live in this country, and I care about baseball like I have
yeah. Well,
as
you better
a kid.
watch out because you are going to be in the minority compared to the soccer fans very soon.
I get it. The World Cup's coming to America, North America, pardon me, Canada, United States, Mexico. I know this is happening soon. I got to get him on the bandwagon. I'll get on the bandwagon. I'm just telling you right now, you have that much invested in these players, and I know that it's not like, I don't know, like Max Scherzer going down or Justin Verlander going down. Those guys are going to be much more important to the Mets. But
that's a matter of weeks, by the way. But okay.
Yeah, right. I know. It's a little fragile when you're signing with starters that are 38 years old. I get it. Or 40, I guess, Verlander. This is my problem, though. It's like I put myself in the position of the team. And whether it's baseball, whether it is soccer, whether it is, hockey, whoever, whatever. Where should your allegiance be to? Because I get having an allegiance to country, and we all should. But I'm talking about professional sports now. I'm not talking about world politics. I'm not talking about culture stuff. I'm talking about where are your professional obligations? Your professional obligation is to the New York freaking Mets. That's who it's to. So I don't understand why now I'm talking about one of the most important pieces of the Mets this year is not going to play. It's simply not going to be there. And by the way, it's great that the Mets have a really rich owner because Edwin Diaz alone is making more than the payroll of certain entire Major League Baseball teams. So, I get it.
You said $20 million a year.
No, I meant in total.
Okay. Regardless, they're
all
totally going to sign a new closer.
This is the NFL.
They're playing baseball in a tournament. They're not running with the Bulls. They should be. It's not that dangerous a situation. They're going to be playing spring training baseball anyway. What's the difference?
Well, he's not going to be jumping around celebrating. And by the way, he's barely jumping around. See, that's the other indignity of this. Can we listen to the injury? I know Manny's wearing his Mets hat today. It's just bad. Or is that a Knicks hat? It's Knicks. I can't see from here. It's just the colors. So, okay. This is the injury. It's not that he was injured throwing, a 101 mile an hour slider home, which Edwin Diaz can do, by the way. It was because they were celebrating a win over the Dominican Republic.
Hopefully Edwin Diaz isn't really hurt. He might be. Gosh, that would be the only thing that could put a damper on a great night for baseball. Gosh, you can only hope it's not as bad as it looks based on those faces.
Well, it was as bad. Thank you.
So that could have happened the way you're describing. That could have happened in the kitchen, or could have happened falling down the stairs. Could have happened anywhere.
Okay.
So what? I'm not playing the WBC.
I don't like that whataboutism or whatever.
What about this whole take is whataboutism? Because if it wasn't Edwin Diaz, there's no way you'd be this fired up about the WBC.
No.
You barely knew what was going on. You just said.
I know, but we haven't been talking about the WBC, but just because we don't talk about it, I've never liked this.
But
just because the guys are making so much money for their actual professional team.
It's not that dangerous. It's baseball.
Baseball players get hurt all the time. Yeah. Everything they do is dangerous. Walking down the street is dangerous for baseball players. They're so fragile.
They got to prepare for the season somehow. What's the difference if they're playing a meaningless spring training game or playing this game?
Because if you get hurt playing a spring training game, you're still with your team that you have the professional obligation for.
So this probably gets you more ready for the season anyway to play in this intense competition. These guys are probably going to come out on fire.
What spring training is about ramping up. It's not about going full bore. That's the problem
full bore,
here.
The guy was just hopping up and down a little bit. It wasn't like he was sprinting to first base.
But here's the thing, right? You get hurt in spring training. You're there with your team. Bleep happens. That's the one you chalk it up to. Oh, man, this is just bad luck. He would never have been jumping around celebrating if they hadn't been playing in the World Baseball Classic. That's just the way it is.
All right. I think we need to bring in some professionals on this, some professional players. And Mike Trout, of course, stuck up for the WBC.
Mike Trout. Speaking about people not even paying attention. No one pays attention to Mike Trout at all, ever, because he doesn't play in the postseason.
I want to hear from Mookie Betts, a guy who has played in the postseason and won a lot of the postseason. And I think this is going to add insult to injury. Let's play the clip.
It's so much fun, and this is way better than getting 4 bats on the backfields. I mean, this is, so I encourage those who are watching, come join, come play for Team USA, because this is a lot of fun.
Now, what is it that I hear in the background there?
This is a lot of fun.
Oh, to add insult to Maggie and Andrew.
Oh, no, his kid was up there.
Mookie Betts, the single coolest baseball player, and there's no debate about that. He is the #1 coolest player.
He's very cool.
Brought his little daughter up to the podium to defend the WBC and therefore offend Maggie Gray.
There we go. Because also that means no one's going to ask him the hard questions like, why are you guys even here and doing this? No.
This is a lot of fun.
Is that why he did it?
Okay. Mookie Betts is sitting from a different vantage point and a different perch of someone who's already won a World Series and somebody who's made tons and tons of money. Listen,
okay. If that's the issue for Edwin Diaz, then he's going to have to wait till he gets traded off the Mets and goes to a team that's ever going to win the World Series.
Thank you, Perloff. I appreciate you rubbing salt in the wound today. Ask
Mookie's daughter. This is all a good time.
A lot of fun.
Yes, his daughter's up there, of course.
So cute, by the way, Maggie.
One of the takes I had on the Super Bowl, I get roasted for. Two-Ton Tony says Maggie needs some purple drink.
Yes.
I do.
We need your help.
Yeah, I feel like Largent said this is the first time that he's ever disagreed with me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. This is not going to be a popular take because I'm not saying you can't have pride in your country. Of course you can. Of course you do. I'm just saying, where are your professional obligations? I'm not saying that you shouldn't be celebrating and stuff like that.
Right.
You shouldn't have even been there.
Say it was.
Nobody should.
And he's not playing.
The amateurs should be there.
Say Bryce Harper hurt his knee in the World Baseball Classic.
I'd be feeling bad for you, and I would also be agreeing with your take if it was like mine. If it was give this to the amateurs. Like, honestly, why can college kids not play in the Olympics? We had this, remember, I know there's an all-time...
Well, there are no college basketball players anymore. But
we're watching them now.
We're watching the B team out there.
Yeah. So I know it happened where the USA team got totally hosed by referees against the former USSR.
You're talking about
the Doug Collins.
Yeah.
And I know that, after it was shortly after that the professionals
they lost in '84.
Right.
And then
the Dream Team came in '92.
Basically, the Dream Team. No, they lost in '88.
'88, yeah.
They lost in '88. Yeah, it wasn't Doug Collins.
No, that was another time that the USA got screwed, apparently.
I mean, obviously, you cannot argue that the Dream Team was the best thing that ever happened in the NBA. It blew up the game. Made it an international phenomenon.
Totally.
So it marketed the sport. WBC, I'm sorry, I think you could make a great argument that it's good for baseball.
Well, I think that baseball is to look at it. First of all, baseball does have a relationship with the WBC, so it's not like they're two completely different entities. But yes, I think baseball, I know that it's different because it's country, it's a tournament, it's shorter, but you're playing this game in Miami, and those stands are full. Nobody's going to Marlins games. But the stands are full when you have the WBC in town. And so maybe baseball needs to look at themselves in the mirror. But that's not what's at issue right now. The issue is, where are your obligations? And Edwin Diaz, for as proud as he can be to be from Puerto Rico, which I know he is, which he should be, him and Francisco Lindor, they all should be proud of their home countries. But when your professional obligation is to play for the Mets, then I think you should be playing for the Mets and the Mets only.
Okay, fine.
Or Mike Trout should be playing for the Angels and the Angels only.
No Mets in the WBC and have more just the fun teams get to send the WBC.
Listen, the Mets are fun. No one ever accused. They're always interesting, at least.
Ooh, in Queens. I don't know. The Mets have this sort of negative parlor about it. Now they have the richest owners, so it makes it even less likely.
You think?
Yeah, nobody likes the Mets.
I get it. But that's why it's not just about me and the Mets. It's about in general. Because if it happened to your team today, if it was Bryce Harper, what would you be saying?
Exactly what you just said. But it wasn't Bryce Harper, so I'm sorry. I can't help but smile. I'm sorry for Edwin Diaz, who's great. But also, if the Phillies lost their closer to an injury, you have to admit that would not be a bad thing, because we have not had a good closer since Bedrock Petrosian.
Cool for you.
And also, you don't need a good closer to win the World Series. I'm telling you, that's not a thing anymore.
But that's my thing. It doesn't have to be a closer. It could have been an ace. It could have been your cleanup hitter. It doesn't matter. It could have been your power forward. It could have been your goalie.
I know you too well.
It's all not right.
I know you too well, Maggie. You are too much of a fan here, because if it was a journeyman of the Mets who got hurt, you would not be this upset. Admit that the fact that the Mets
I would be.
I don't think so. I think that now maybe I'm wrong. I think subconsciously you're just mad because the Mets lost a star.
Did we all not feel bad when Paul George, when he got hurt in that scrimmage?
That yes, but not yes.
Yes, and we felt terrible for him.
But okay, say it was, and I'm trying to name a journeyman on the Mets. Say it was Brandon Nimmo.
He's not a journeyman. He just got a massive contract. He's their starting center fielder.
Okay,
right
give me who's a journeyman. Say
it's Guillermo. Luis Guillorme. I love him. Okay. He's a bench guy. He had a famous viral clip because someone once, like a bat flew out of their hand and he caught it with one hand.
If he got hurt, would you be this upset?
Yes, because I love the guy. He's from Florida, by the way, so he'd be playing for Team USA.
You understand my question, though. Let's say someone you don't love. Yes, I would still be upset. Okay.
I would be.
Because if it was Bryce Harper.
Am I alone on this?
If it was Bryce Harper, I would be way more upset than if it was a backup.
Okay, but I'm not delineating between stars and backup. I'm saying anybody. If you are getting paid professionally to play for a professional team, that should take precedent. I don't know if anyone agrees with me. Manny, I don't know. Are you a Mets fan?
No, I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay.
I disagree with you.
All right. Stu?
I'm more on Perloff's side here. I like the competition, and I think professionals in it makes it better and good for the country, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've got one word for all of you. Boo. Boo, boo.
I mean, listen, it's a different calculus for my team because the Phillies played so much deeper into the offseason.
All right.
Probably the health issues are more serious.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to follow it up with another World Series appearance. And by the way, the Astros won that World Series. And that's just while we're here, who won the Super Bowl?
Not the Eagles.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's weird, though. I was there. I seem to remember the Eagles were there, too. Listen, if the Sixers make it to the finals and lose in the NBA, I'll be thrilled. I'll take this. This is not bad.
That's the real trifecta for Philadelphia.
If the Philadelphia Union lost in the finals, too. MLS. But, yeah. So, wait, just real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
That midseason NBA tournament that Adam Silver's talking about, you do not want to see anyone lace up for that, then.
No, they're still being paid by their NBA teams. Like, that's the thing. Your obligations to your NBA team, you're competing for your NBA team.
To put them out there is, will hurt their chances of winning a championship.
But if the person who's writing your paychecks, if they're like, all right, go play, then then I'm like, fine. That's fine. So the WBC is like a vanity project. That this is your real pro job is to play for your professional team. But this is like a side thing.
I would imagine the teams would like their players to be in the WBC because it markets them and it markets the team, right?
I don't think so.
I'm sure the teams would be upset if their guys did not make the WBC.
Well, why?
I'm sure they'd be like, well, how come our guy didn't make the WBC?
Then why do you think Mark Cuban didn't want Dirk Nowitzki playing the Olympics?
Well, the thing is, Dirk Nowitzki wasn't going to win a gold anyway, so he's like, what's the point of you going over there just to play for the country?
I know, but see, that's the thing about professional sports. You don't know what's going to happen.
You do.
Did you ever think that the USA was going to get the bronze in 2004? No. So you can't base it on the results.
Okay, it's the Olympics. How many times has America won the gold medal? Do you think? Oh, you're right. It could be like the NCAA tournament where Dirk Nowitzki wasn't winning the gold medal that year. He's probably going up against.
I know, but you're just playing the results.
That's not true.
I'm playing the process.
No. I mean, if Germany was Argentina or Spain and was a gold medal favorite, then maybe it would have been a different issue. But I don't think Dirk was winning anything that year.
I know, but you're playing the results. You're not playing the process.
No, but
you're saying only if you could win a gold medal, you should be allowed to go.
Yeah, it's a way different issue.
You have no idea what's going to happen.
But no, say you're a guy who plays for a team that everyone knows has no chance, has never won anything in international ball. The owners could be like, don't go out there, you're not going to win anyway. Of course that would be an issue. If a guy plays for Argentina and calls the owner and say, I want to go, we're really good, the owner might be like, okay. But if he's got no chance, of course he's not going to go out there.
Competing is competing.
No, not in the Olympic, not in Olympic basketball. That's why some guys even switch countries. So
okay, so what if it's the WBC and you're going to play so you shouldn't go and play for Chinese Taipei because you don't have any shot, as opposed to playing for Puerto Rico? That doesn't make any sense.
Is Chinese Taipei not good?
Well, I just saw they haven't won a lot of games, so that's what I'm basing this off.
Yes, if your guy is going to go to an 0-8. Deep, long shot Chinese Taipei, yes, I think it's a different issue.
How about this? Another thing about the World Baseball Classic, even though it's a lot of fun, we're super late here. I'm killing our clock right now. The Czech Republic team had an article in the New York Times because they're plumbers and firemen and accountants. And that's a tournament that also Edwin Diaz and Mike Trout and Mookie Betts are playing in. And now one of them that I just mentioned has a catastrophic knee injury. This doesn't make any sense.